This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Go Hayes! It's a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
We've got a busy day here on A's Cast Live. We are on the field getting you ready for Game 2 between the Oakland Athletics and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Southern California, Disney, whatever the hell they're calling themselves these days. It's going to be a 6:40 first pitch. We'll have A's Total Access coming up for you at 5:40. You are listening and watching A's Cast Live. Thank you for listening on the stream, or if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter. Shooty Babitt, the Super Scout, TV star tonight, will be with us here on A's Cast Live from the field in moments, talking about a lot of different things, but we always get into scouting because Shooty is fresh out of the bushes, as he likes to say, and will let us know what's been going on his trails and travels through the minor leagues. Former Athletic, longtime friend of the program. I was thinking about it last night. This was probably 2015, 2016. Kurt Suzuki and I were doing an interview over in the other dugout. And then after the interview, we just started chatting. How's life? How's kids? How's family? He's talking about retirement. What's he going to do next? He's going to get into coaching. And I will never forget. Like, yeah, great. Kurt, whatever you do, it's going to be great. And then I was late. I had to rush up. I actually was late for the start of that then. Our old flagship station. I was late to start the pregame because I was, Kurt and I were having a nice conversation. Well, he didn't retire. And whether that was 2015, Cody, look that up. Was that 2000 when he was with the Minnesota Twins at the time? It's like 2015, 2016. He's going to retire. What are you going to do? We had this conversation. It's 2022. He's still playing. Ken Korak had the stat about him that he was drafted. What was it, Ken? Suzuki 18 years ago? Suzuki drafted 18 years ago? The great Ken Korak over in the dugout, the voice of summer, said yesterday on the broadcast, 18 years ago, Kurt Suzuki was drafted by the Oakland Athletics out of Fullerton.
2014, 15, and 16 with the Twins for
So
Suzuki.
It's probably 15, 16. Kurt Suzuki's thinking about retiring. And now he's showing up here in a half hour to talk about still playing at 38 years old. Pretty amazing.
And he won a World Series.
He would have retired, not got that World Series ring. And big. Did we pressure Dave Kaval into coming today? Did we put the full court press on him? Because we saw Dave Kaval as he was the master of ceremonies at the Hall of Fame dinner. That was after the game on Sunday. And Cody let's just be honest, Cody had a few, feeling a little brave. I got to talk to Dave, and it was like, hey, what about A's Cast Live? We haven't had you in a while. So Dave Kaval, the president, is going to be here at 5 o'clock, and we'll talk Howard Terminal, what's going on, city council, you got the port, where are we from here, how do we get this going, how do we get shovels in the ground, lawsuits, what's happening. We'll get the 411, as they like to say, and then also we'll ask, you may not like it, but got to ask, what's going on in Vegas?
Yeah, fair point. And when you were talking to Dave on on Sunday at the Hall of Fame dinner, I was doing all the legwork talking to nothing gets by Curtis. You can't get it. You can't have a Dave Kaval interview without Curtis being involved.
Okay. Drinking all day long at the game and then drinking at the company party, I wouldn't say is doing legwork.
Nothing gets past Curtis.
Eating free all day long for you, Commander.
Whoa, not eating free. But, well, my wife did pay, so yeah, I guess I ate for free.
Yeah, you had a good day on Sunday. That was a healthy day for you.
Yeah, it was a good day.
So we're gonna have Shooty Babitt at 4:15, Kurt Suzuki at 4:30, and Dave Kaval at 5 o'clock. That's what's happening on A's Cast Live. Last night, after you have to realize that I just don't turn it off once we get done with the getting the shot.
I know, I'm gonna sit down.
I just don't turn it off once the A's Clubhouse show ends. It's just not how the world works, where all of a sudden you just go, show's over. You know, you got a lot of things going on. You know, we start here at 4 o'clock. I'm not done till 11:30, sometimes midnight. Cole Irvin pitching, by the way, even though he lost 2 hours and 14 minutes, fastest game this year. Absolutely love. We talked to him about it. Cole Irvin thinks once he gets help from the other pitcher and we get the pitch clock, and he is our player rep, so he will represent the A's players when it comes to how we're going to implement pitch clock. He believes, and we're going to have to get him on the show soon to talk some Oregon Duck football, and we will talk college football because we have some guys that love college football on this team. Zach Jackson, former Hog, and Arkansas Razorback. Cole Irvin, huge Oregon Duck fan. He will be on soon. We told him we got to bring him on to talk a little college football. We'll wait till the next homestand. But as he said, as the player rep, they got to figure out, the penalties and how it's going to work. But if he gets help from the other side, he thinks he can have a game under 2 hours. I mean, that's it. That's Ken Holtzman, by the way.
Yeah, that's quick. I mean, Mark, that's like you're going in Mark Burley territory if you want to talk about a guy from 2000 on. Burley was like the fastest worker prior to watching what Cole's doing. And 2 hours, 14 minutes, as you mentioned, 1-0 game. The Giants and Padres played a same score, 1-0 in San Diego, 3 hours and 15 minutes.
An hour long to do the exact same game. Figure that one out. The exact same score. Obviously, games are going to be different, but seriously, how can there be an hour more of a game that's 1-0? Like, literally, that is not good entertainment.
I didn't look up. I know
an hour long. It's 1-0, like, right? The Giants beat the Padres 1-0.
1-0. There was a lengthy review, but it didn't take an hour for the review to happen in the seventh inning.
Review's 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to look up so many pitchers were used because we know how many pitchers were used in the game last night. There was 2 ace pitchers last night. The Padres used 3 guys. Blake Snell went 5 2/3. Nick Martinez went 2 1/3. Hader went 1. The Giants used 4 pitchers.
Still, that shouldn't mean an hour longer for a 1-0 game. It shouldn't mean that. I mean, unbelievable. So last night, I was looking at this, getting ready for Shooty Babitt, and Shooty is a part of what I'm going to talk about. And we're going to play. Do you have all the David Force cuts ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
So
which one do you want first? I have them on the thing.
Here we are in August 9th, 2022. And our focus is going to be, yes, on what these guys do here. And we got to finish up the season. But a lot of our focus is what's next for this team? What's next for this franchise? How do we turn it around? How do the A's go from being where they are now to getting back where we were last year at 86 wins and the 3 years prior where there was a division win and 2 straight wild cards? How do we get back to being in the postseason? Well, it's going to be through what we do in our farm system. That is going to help. It's not going to be the cure-all. And what the A's have done in recent years, and really under Billy Beane and David Force, is they've always been good at finding talent in other people's organization. But you got to find your own talent, then go find the other pieces that are going to help you win at this level. So last night, Kylie McDaniel from ESPN.com, ESPN Television, who you have heard here on A's Cast Live, updated his rankings for systems in the minor league. Normally, our minor league system in years past has not been rated very high. And I'm not going to say it's rated very high now, but boy, have we jumped. So since the trading deadline, and you think of what the Athletics got, whether it's with the Yankees or what you got from Tampa Bay, the A's have traveled all the way up, and we'll show you here if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter. If you're listening at home, we have jumped all the way up to 17th, middle of the pack. Now, you're going to say, that's not great, and I agree with you. But where did we start at the beginning of the year? Started 28th. So that's more than a 10 jump. And now you wait to see Waldachuk, Sears. Let's see what these guys do. Like, let's say they actually come up, and we're going to play David Force for you here in a second, general manager of the Oakland Athletics, who joined us yesterday on A's Cast Live. If guys actually go out and perform well in Vegas and here, we'll jump up from 17th. Like, all of a sudden, if you start to see, like, as Tyler Soderstrom continues to hit as a top prospect, and you start seeing guys, and you see Sears and Waldachuk come up and make some appearances here, we'll go into the offseason in top 15, right?
Yeah, and Daniel Susak's supposed to debut for Stockton this week, too. So your number one pick in the draft.
For him.
But I'm just saying that helps your farm system, though.
No doubt. But what will propel us into, let's say, top 12?
Oh, so it's
going to be the guys that we got there are closer, and they can start helping us right now. So I asked David Force yesterday. I have the names written down. I went back. Like I said, I don't sleep. Cody sleeps. I wait for the offseason to sleep. You can sleep in the offseason. Who are the names we need to be looking at? Who are the names that David Force, when we say, all right, we need to check the box score every night? As Shooty Babitt showing up early, that's what scouts do. Scouts don't get there at first pitch. Scouts get there before because they got to talk to people. I want you to listen to this, Shooty. This is David Force, our general manager, the guy that you work for. Yesterday on the show, I asked him, who are the guys we need to look at the rest of the way in the minor leagues who can help us and look at spring training next year and for the big club next year? Here is the general manager on A's Cast Live.
There's a couple guys in Vegas, I think, who are really close. I mean, certainly the two guys we got in the Yankees trade, JP Sears, who's pitched in the big leagues, and Ken Waldachuk. I think both guys are basically knocking on the door and just waiting for an open spot. Cal Stevenson, who's gone a little bit under the radar, we got for Christian Bethancourt, has been on fire in Vegas, and I think we'll probably get an opportunity soon to see what he can do up here. So there's a couple guys there, in addition to the guys we've already seen who may have an impact. After that, the group is in Midland that is pretty exciting. I mean, Zach Geloff, Tyler Soderstrom, and Jordan Diaz are lighting up the box score on a regular basis. And I think once you're in Double-A, it's really easy for us to picture you in the big leagues. It's just a step away. So those guys are exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing them this week. And then there's a group of pitchers there as well, with Hogan Harris, who's finally healthy, pitching well. Luis Medina came over in the Yankee trade. JT Ginn is back healthy and pitching. Jeff Criswell's doing a nice job. So there's a group of arms there as well that are making progress and who, to your point, will probably come into spring training next year looking to show the big league staff what they can do.
Shooty, one of the reasons why I brought this up is last night I was reading an article about the farm systems and ranking them. Kylie McDaniel does a very good job on ESPN.com. We started in preseason, ranked 28th. This is your department. All the way up now to 17th. And I think once we see some of the guys from the Yankee trade and we see how Soderstrom ends up, we could see the A's top 15, maybe top 12, which is a huge jump from where the A's were at the start of the season in the preseason, ranked 28th.
First of all, I would just like to congratulate my brethren, the other scouts, player development, scouting, for doing a fantastic job. And it was quite a grind. Leaving spring training, we established a lot of relationships with a lot of clubs because they knew that we would have a lot of moving parts. There would be a lot of interest in players that we had that weren't here at the right time. And that's what it's all about. Timing is everything. And I commend the Oakland A's for staying the course. You know, there's a lot of bitter fans, a lot of people wondering what direction we're going in. But one thing as a scout and working outside of the organization prior to coming to the A's full time is that I always sit back and watch how they did things. And they always have a process. You know, they're not going to overkick their coverage. They're not going to go out and overspend just for the sake of it. There's a plan. There's only one team that really mattered last year, and that was the Atlanta Braves, because they won the World Series. And when you do that, everybody else came in second place, and you need to get better. We understood where we stand. We know where we're going. We knew our farm system was. We knew we had pieces that could only enlighten and then heighten the things that we have in our organization. And for you to read off the numbers and see where we went from 28 to 17, that's just a body of work from a lot of people making wise decisions and doing their homework and getting it done. So I'm extremely excited about the youth that's coming. If you see the youth that's on the field right now, this is their opportunity. You know, I'm a product of taking advantage of an opportunity that's presented in front of you when you're playing for a team that's on their way up, but they're trending and trying to find ways to get there. So you may hear me berating the fact that so many times that these young men need to take advantage and understand where they are right now, because there are a lot of minor league players that never got an opportunity to step on a major league field, that only needed one opportunity to get a chance to manufacture a lifetime career. And so I'm a guy of urgency. You know that, Tony. So I'm loving where we are right now, but I'd like to just expound this message to the A's fans. Be patient. You know, grab a hold of some of these young kids, embrace them, you know, pull for them to mature as major league players, and trust that the brain trust up top is going to make the best moves for this organization. Because when you're in a small market, if you will, when we start talking about economics and you can only spend money in certain ways, you have to be smart in the way that you make it, because you go out and make one bad deal, you know, that could set your franchise back 3 or 4 years. And you want to just commend the people that are making those decisions.
You know, one of the things that I've learned from Dave Stewart, and now that I've worked around him quite a bit, and I love, you know, just picking his brain, and it has nothing to do with him as the player. Everybody, won 20 games 4 straight years. People forget about what he was as a coach and a pitching coach, and then probably more importantly, what he was as a GM and an assistant GM. He understands the game. And one thing that he told me that is so key, we talk so much about what guys like you will be sent out to look at other teams' organizations and when there's trades and stuff and evaluating players. But don't forget to evaluate your own players and the value of the own guy. Evaluate the guys that you have. Because too many times teams forget that and they don't really look at their own system. So tell me, why is it so important not only to go to look at everybody else, but to self-evaluate yourselves and truly know what you have?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Keith Lipman, who was elected and inducted into the Oakland A's Hall of Fame this year after a 50-year career of playing and most of the time being spent in player development, because the day in and day out responsibilities of the people developing these kids, getting them ready. There's so many things that you see on the field, but there are a whole lot of things that you don't see off the field, what these kids are made of, where they come from, the agents, the families, the girlfriends, everything that they have to deal with, still keeping these guys on the right path. But to answer your question directly, how do you know where you stack up? How do you know where you're going to be able to fill the voids or the gaps or build depth if you don't know what other people have? And a lot of times, if you get ready to start trading players, you need to know what you have in your own system before you make a deal, because why just make a deal if this kid is not better than something that we already have? Instead of making a bad move here, let's invest our time somewhere else where we know we can get better. So I think people all the time, you know, make comments or are critical of moves that are made. The people that are running the organization and the coaches and development people that have their hands on them know them better than anyone. They spend every single day. They know what their breath smell like, what kind of deodorant they wear, because they're that much in their life, and there's just so much. So they know everything. So this is a family. Player development, minor leagues are trying to get players ready for this level that there is no league better than this one right here. So don't come up here and try to be something that you're not. Do what you've done to allow you to get an opportunity to prove what you are. I truly feel that this is a game of skill, instincts, and feel. we see you the skill, now will your instincts allow you to show them, and do you have enough feel to use them at the proper time? Because as we saw two left-handers battle yesterday with subpar velo, not eye-blowing stuff, but I saw two guys that understand their craft. I see the instinctual feel that they have in their game and the ability to apply it. I mean, you're talking about a guy that touched 95 if he needed to, but he struck out 8 guys, and all he threw mostly was a changeup. So what did he do? He just out-thought these guys. He didn't overmatch them. You can't overpower this game. I don't care who you are, but you can't outthink guys. I'm looking for guys at this time of the year. The smart guys get smarter, and the dumb guys get dumber. You've got to make adjustments, because if not, you'll look up and your career will be just as fast as mine. So it's equally as hard as it is to get here. It's triply as hard, if that is a word, to stay here. So I like where we are, Tony. As bad as tough times, as hard times, but you've got to get knocked down before you know how to get up.
So how many games are you doing the color for NBC Sports California?
I have this series against the Angels.
If you get a couple more games that are 2 hours and 15 minutes, we're not going to let you go. Well, you're going to be a permanent. You're going to have to quit all your jobs, and you're going to start doing TV full time. 2 hours and 14. I'm like, this is like when I was a kid watching baseball.
I think it's because the A's have been so hospitable to me throughout my whole career since 1977. That they understand how I roll. Most of the time I spend my time in the minor leagues. The best change that they've made all year is that time clock down in the minor leagues, because it's strapping on, get on the bump, get in the box, and let's roll. So most games are 2 hours and 15 minutes, and you're not missing any action. All, in my opinion, and my humble opinion, all they're doing is producing more.
Does it make what you see down there, this pitch clock, make pitchers and defense just flat out better because they're getting into more of a rhythm?
I do, because I think there's too much thinking going on right now during the game. The game is won at this time of the day, 2 o'clock, 2:30, the preparation, the ground balls, the fly balls, the sides, the bullpens, the execution, the preparation, because the preparation prepares you for the execution. Guys at this level make a living by doing big things. But if you don't take care of the small things first, the big things never happen. So it's truly valuable.
Yeah, no doubt about it, right? I got to work on my stuff on the range, but when I get to that first tee, I gotta let it go.
Let it rip. You can't. Just like playing third base. That is a position, they call it the hot corner for a reason. You don't get an opportunity to think. You can only react. And you react because you've watched so many balls off the bat. You've anticipated. You're anticipating every pitch. Balls in the dirt for a base runner. You're anticipating every pitch is going to be in the dirt, because if it does, I'm already thinking that if it happens, it creates momentum right away. But you say, oh, in the dirt, I got to go. It's too late. So with a young crew, you'd like to see these kids play clean, hard-nosed, dog savage style baseball, fighting for every single thing that they get. Don't give away at bats. I've watched this club this year lately, and some of the young kids are striking out a little bit too much. I think it'd be a good idea to just choke up a little bit, get up on the plate, and say, I don't care if I break my bat in half. You're not going to strike me out, because I truly feel if you strike out, you lost to the pitcher. I don't care if people, it wasn't a bad at bat. He racked up a bunch of pitches. My baloney.
Now, something that we talked about the other night at dinner, and Grady Fuson addressed this yesterday with Vince Cotroneo, and it's a philosophy in scouting. And back in the day, it was this guy, he needs X amount of plate appearances. He needs X amount of innings pitched. It's 500 innings pitched. It's 1,500 plate appearances. And then we'll evaluate whether this guy's ready for the big leagues. Well, we've done a deep dive on all the top young players in baseball. None of these guys get to those marks anymore. The best players, the youngest players, these guys that can help you now, no more of this 500 or 1,500. They're coming up. They're coming up to compete. They're coming to take your lunch money now at a young age. Just talk about how you've seen a change and how much you think a guy does need to marinate down in the minor leagues.
Oh, man, it's invaluable. I think you learn all your lumps, or get all your lumps. You learn most of your lessons down in the minor leagues, because every day, if you've got major league aspirations, you're looking at box scores, you're looking at players that you admire, you see what they're doing at that level. the 20-year-old guys, the Ricky Hendersons, the Mike Trouts, the Uptons of the world. I mean, your biggest problem is holding them back. Okay, you're not trying to figure out when they're going to get there. They force their way there because you know what they're able to do? Force their will on their opponents. They've been doing that all their life. I don't care if it's by power, by speed, by using your legs to create havoc. Nobody can stop you. But I just think because of the amount of money that's invested, some of these guys have it in their contract that I do this and you do that, you go to the major league. No. It used to be on merit. And I know I'm old-fashioned. I'm going to be roadkill pretty soon, but it's okay. It's been a good ride. But I know one thing. When you came to the major leagues, you didn't come up here to watch. You come up here to fill a position because somebody hadn't been playing well or somebody got hurt. You get an opportunity to go and play, hitting 210, 195 in the big leagues. Are you kidding me? I hit 256 and got ran out of this piece. So it's different in that way. I don't think a lot of decisions are made on merit. It's unfortunate. A lot are made by need.
But a lot of these really good young guys now, 25 and under, we're finding a list. A bunch of them are ballers.
Well, it's timing is everything,
yeah.
Tony. I mean, if you've got you're a championship type ball club and you're the Yankees or somebody where there's not a whole lot of opportunity in room, these guys are going to marinate down there and play a little longer. But nobody has a team where they've got too many hitters. If you can swing that thing, if you can swing that shillelagh, brother, they're going to find a place for you. Look at our very own Jed Lowry. I mean, this dude, right, the reason why he continues to play in this game, because he can straight up rake. The man's a professional hitter, and we got to find a way to keep him in the lineup. So these guys you're talking about, if they're not a pitcher and you're talking about this premium arm, this guy that has premium stuff, you're talking about a position player. And I guarantee you the number one quality that he has, he can swing that thing.
For you, when we start talking about the trading deadline, there was always urgency, but if we don't get the right deal, we can wait for the waiver wire process. Now we don't have that. Now there truly is a deadline. This is it. Whether you're going to fix your squad or you want to replenish your minor league system, buyer versus the seller, how has it changed guys like you in the bushes now that there's not the waiver wire process?
It hasn't changed in my role. We're constantly digging in the bushes. We're constantly trying to find good deals. I mean, you've got guys that are going to be sent out on waivers. Guys are going to be released. There's going to be a lot of movement going on. A lot of clubs have made all the moves that they can make at this time because of the personnel that they have given up or the personnel that they've acquired, and they can't get rid of anybody. It's been a few years working on other teams, and I sit up and shook my head a few times about some of the moves that have been made here. But I've learned to keep my mouth shut and watch because every year, no matter what, with the exception this year, and even though we're having a tough time, these kids are still going out competing. Staying competitive is so hard to do. We watched the Cubs, hadn't won a World Series in 100 years. Well, they were the talk of the town a few years ago because they won the World Series. Look at them now. You know, they're down there with us trying to fight for not having one of the worst records in baseball. So timing is everything. Calculations are everything. I don't take a breath until September 24th, and that's the last minor league game being played. So I spent a lot of time in AA baseball. You heard David Forrest telling you these guys that are performing at the AA level are telling you right there that their skill set plays above. It's all about the mentality and how much they're willing to put into their craft to give them opportunity to play at the next level.
So when we talk about a guy moving from AA to the big leagues, not going to AAA, because as David Forrest said, hey, listen, once you get to AA, there is a possibility to skip AAA and go to the big leagues. What do you need to see from a player at AA to be able to say, if you were asked the question, you know, is this guy ready? You got to sign off on that player.
I'll give you a prime example, a kid that I really love that I watched this year that the Texas Rangers brought up to the big leagues, Exubrio Duran. I watch him in Frisco, Texas, and he's a smaller version of Elvis Andrus. And it's just the way that he commands the game, the at-bats, the quality of the bats, the way that he controlled the zone, the way that he played within his game, no matter what pitcher's on the mound, who they're playing against, his game plays. Typically, guys in AAA are guys that are not good enough. There used to be a label for guys in AAA, 4A players.
Yeah.
Not good enough to be in the big leagues, but really good enough to have in AAA. But typically there is some type of wart on this guy that won't allow him to be a major league player. So you've got a league full of guys like that. AA guys that have the skill set and have shown you that they are able to apply their skills no matter who's playing. You see that right away because it's that maturation that you see in that player. So they let you know, and you don't want to waste his time in AAA because you're down there with veterans trying to get back to the big leagues, doing everything they can to trick you. It's just a whole lot of stuff going on in AAA. A lot of guys frustrated that they're down there. So you love it when you see a kid go from AA to the big leagues because you know he's special.
And there's that mental side, as you're talking about AAA, of the frustration, where that frustration can get the best of a player and he doesn't perform as well, or he doesn't perform up to his capabilities. As a scout, do you see it? And maybe, I don't know how you do it. How do you coach that, the mentality to get more of a glass half full versus glass half empty?
Well, I think because most of those guys, for the most part, are older guys. They've been there for a while. They're kind of set in their own ways. You're definitely not going to change their stuff or the way that they go about playing the game. The younger kids, different story. Sometimes you expect them to struggle in AAA because it's just like big leaguers with experience down there. The stuff may not be that good, but mentally they can overwork you because they can outsmart you. So it's an individual. I don't think you can put the emphasis on the league itself because there's a reason that they have AAA. Some guys are just not ready. Some guys just need a little more work, but there's so many intangibles and things that go along with that that makes the decision. But when David starts talking about guys like that performing in AA, you take note, you make sure you keep your eyes on because there's more coming of them. You start talking about the guys like Denzel Clark and Soderstrom and names like that. Those are the kids that open up your eyes. So, man, the future is truly bright right now, and all you can do is sit here and enjoy what's happening and watch it all unfold.
Let's end on this. You love your job. You love this franchise. Tell us why you love it so much.
Man, how could I not? You know, as a kid, growing up, all I ever wanted to do was be a baseball player. My mom taught me how to play the game, play catch in front of the house when my dad was working. I found out that I was athletically gifted to a certain degree towards baseball. It's something I always loved doing. I had a scholarship to go to UCLA when I was drafted after watching Ricky and my friend Fred Atkins get drafted and go away and come back with their gear and their numbers on their neck. And man, all I ever wanted to be was a professional. The Oakland A's drafted me on the last day in the 25th round, and it was a gamble that I had to take. I could give up a full ride scholarship to UCLA that was going to guarantee me a decent living in life, or I could chase my dream. I chose to chase my dream, Chowny, and the Oakland A's gave me that opportunity. Not only on the field, but here in my community. I don't want this building to go. I'd rather see them remodel it, do something, build another one right here, because this is just like tearing down a home that I grew up in, man. So my home in Berkeley that I grew up in is still over there, man. So there's so many memories. But they've allowed me to be I think the main reason is because they've allowed me to be Shooty Babitt. And when people accept you for who you are and what you bring and don't expect you to change, just tell you to be yourself, how could you not be happy? You know, this organization embraced me. You're not going to see my numbers up there in center field. You're not going to see a whole bunch of stats by my name. But the one thing that I hope that my teammates remember me for is a guy that came out there and gave you every single thing that he had every day on the field. And if there was something that broke out, I can recall a fight that we had with the Texas Rangers once, and Cliff Johnson charged him out after Danny Darwin. And he grounded out and he ran to the mound. And me, like an idiot, I'm with my team. I run out on the mound. I jump into and all of a sudden somebody got me and I can't move. What's happening? And somebody said, man, you get bail. I got Babitt. I said, yeah, get ass off me. But I'm Oakland A's to the bone, Townie, and I'm truly thankful and grateful for this opportunity to start my career here. And the people that brought me here said, man, you can work here until you get ready to retire as long as you don't mess it up, man. So I'm doing my honest God truth not to do that, man. And as the great George Devine told me years and years ago, I said, George, how do I know they like me? He said, Shooty, if they ask you to come back. So I know you love me, homie, because you keep me on the show, and I appreciate it. So divinely, my man.
Ain't nobody better and ain't no bigger league than this one behind us. The great Shooty Babitt will be on tonight. NBC Sports California doing the broadcast with Glenn Kuiper. You are the man, my friend.
Thank you, Tony. Always a pleasure, bro.
We got more coming up next. Kurt Suzuki right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Hey, A's fans, your Athletics are back in town, and we're kicking off the series with a boom. That's right. Post-game fireworks presented by Lagunitas are back after Friday night's matchup against the Mariners. Friday, August 19th, join us at the ballpark when the A's take on the Mariners, and then head down to the field to see the best fireworks display in the Bay. August 19th fireworks presented by Lagunitas. Tickets start at just $15 and are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
Some things just go together. Peanut butter and jelly, cookies and milk, Oakland and Kaiser Permanente. If that last one caught you off guard, it shouldn't, because Kaiser Permanente has been helping keep Oakland healthy since our very beginning. And as the official healthcare partner of the Oakland A's, that won't be changing anytime soon. Whatever you may need, you can trust Kaiser Permanente to help keep you feeling your best. Kaiser Permanente. Thrive. Visit kp.org today.
Coming in at 5'3", it's #1 mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you could pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom shakalaka. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
When Northern California businesses need some pop in their lineup, they call the bank rooted in the East Bay, Mechanics Bank. Since 1905, Mechanics Bank has been helping Bay Area and Northern California businesses find success and perform at the top of their game. See how they can make a difference in your business today. Call or stop by your local branch or visit mechanicsbank.com. Mechanics Bank, the official East Bay bank of the Oakland A's. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Hey, A's fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up. And Eaton can't believe it.
Grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is a national brand with family-owned prices and service. You can shop at one of their Bay Area locations, and all stores are sanitized and safe, or you can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Innovation is at the heart of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students map genes from California's endangered plants. or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
Yeah, a lot on scouting, a lot on the future, a lot on what is going on with the A's going forward. Kurt Suzuki is going to join us, but before we do that, I do want to get to this. Before I get into the old 500 innings pitch, 1,500 plate appearances that we have been sold for so many years, I have to bring this up about the Angels. They literally are the worst franchise in baseball history and maybe in American professional sports history in giving out free agent contracts. It is unbelievable how bad they are. Let's go over some of these contracts. Anthony Rendon, this is still to be played out, but this thing's a dumpster fire. 7 years, $245 million. Vernon Wells, complete waste. 7 years, $126 million. Hit 222, 36 home runs in that time. Get rid of him. Albert Pujols, 10 years, $240 million. Awful. Josh Hamilton, do you remember how bad this was? 5 years, $125 million. Justin Upton, another dumpster fire. 5 years, $106 million. It just goes on and on. One that I forgot, Commander, this was great. Mo Vaughn, 6 years, $80 million. That was a huge deal. They stole him from the Boston Red Sox, and that's when they were the Anaheim Angels, still kind of wearing the uniforms are kind of based off Disney. They were owned by Disney at the time.
Yeah, he played 2 years, then I think he got hurt, and then he got traded to...
He rolled his ankle in the first game. I'll never forget. It was a foul ball that went into the dugout, and he hurt his ankle and got off to a horrific start.
Yeah, then he was out of baseball for a year because he was hurt, and then I think he went to the Mets, and then that was it.
Then we're looking at Gary Matthews Jr., 5 years, $50. C.J. Wilson, 5 years, $75. His actually isn't that bad.
No, he actually had a decent little run with them.
But Zach Cozart, 3 years, $38 million. Just these names.
Real quick, the thing about Cozart that's really interesting, Cozart, they signed him to that deal. He was horrible. They had to trade him and their number one draft pick from the draft prior. We were in the winter meetings in San Diego when Farhan walked by and he said, "Hey, I can't talk to you guys." He was working on a trade. That's the trade he did. He sent, I forget who he sent to the Angels, but he got back Cozart, which they got rid of, and they got the Angels' top pick that year, Will Wilson, who's still in their system. The Angels just dumped his contract, and they had to give up their number one pick in the draft because they just wanted to eat his contract.
We're talking about over $1 billion in bad free agent contracts. Over $1 billion. You think that is multiple GMs, multiple front office people. That's even multiple owners. They've given up over $1 billion worth of bad free agent contracts. And this is not counting everybody. There's other people. But you just think about, like, when we address the, when the Angels were here on May 24th or whatever the hell the date was, and now they were right in the thick of the things, and it's going to be Ohtani and Trout in the postseason. Certain organizations, they kind of fall back on, like, who really are they? And they're back to being who they are. Terrible. It's been a long time. 2002 was a long time ago when the first time we ever saw two wild card teams hook up in the World Series, when it was the Angels and Mike Scioscia against Dusty Baker and the Giants. Of course, the Angels will get their lone World Series trophy. And just a lot of bad signing since, a lot of trying to chase glory with money, and it just has not worked. And now we're looking at, I mean, I don't think Trout's contract will be a bad deal whatsoever, but that new contract, I mean, let's face it, Trout with the bad calf, Trout this year, there hasn't been a whole lot of games played for Mike Trout with this new extension.
No, and you got to worry because he missed most of the year last year, short 2020. So it's going to be an interesting one. Then you got the Rendon one, and what's going to happen with Ohtani. So a lot of things to worry about.
Well, now joining us for you A's fan, he's an all-time A's fan favorite, and it's great to see you, Kurt Suzuki. Man, it has been a long time. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, I was telling the story earlier in the show. By the way, look how we improved. Right? We're now doing a television show. We've changed a lot.
This is big league right now.
Changed a lot since you were here. I was telling the story. I was like looking it up because you were with the Minnesota Twins at the time. It was like 15 or 16. We did the interview for pregame over in the dugout. And then after we were talking, catching up, how the kid's doing, how's everything going. And at that point, you were talking about retirement. What are you going to do? And kids are still pretty young, but I'm not sure if I want to coach or whatever. And here we are, 2022. God bless you. You're still playing.
Oh, man. Yes, it is. It's definitely been a blessing. That one, that I'm able to do this, every year or up until this year. And then two, that my family allows me to do this. It's a big sacrifice, not just for myself, but for my family. My kids are in school full-time every day now. And, my daughter Malia was born here. She just turned 11. My middle one, Kai, is 9.
Wow.
And then my youngest is 6.
They were babies back in the day.
Eli wasn't even born. He was born in Minnesota. So it was, it's crazy. And then my wife was pregnant with Kai. My second one in 13, when I got traded back here, she was pregnant with Kai. So it was, it's been crazy.
Yeah, I think about my twins who are now 16. I remember putting that when they were little girls and they were wearing the Kurt Suzuki jersey, the long sleeve jersey to bed. And I tweeted it out. The fans loved it. Yeah, they're now 16. A lot has changed, but a lot of great has changed for you. I think about winning the World Series, your career. But it all started here, and it meant so much to start here. I know this organization will always mean so much to you.
You just nailed it right there. I mean, every time I come to this place, obviously as a visiting team, everybody hated coming here. But, when I come back here as a visitor, I love it. It brings back memories. This will always be, I call it my home. This is where I first started from. Everybody, I look at the coaching staff, and Emo was my first pitching coach. Bushy was my first hitting coach. I played with Tommy Everidge in the minor leagues coming up, and in the big leagues a little bit. I played with Kotz, my first year when I got called up, and he took care of me, took me under his wing, and you see all these guys, Mikey and Voos and Cliffy and Maddie, and I mean everybody that works in the clubhouse are still security guard. Everybody's here. It's a pretty cool experience to be able to come back and just the support and the love that they show you coming back. I mean, I had the greatest years here. It was awesome.
You would have loved Sunday because we put Keith Lipman and Steve Vucinich into the A's Hall of Fame.
Yes, that I saw it. Actually, we had it on the TV up there in the locker room yesterday. We were looking at watching the highlights and stuff, and I saw Vusi put on his green jacket. Lip looks the same as when I was here going through the minor leagues. Still looks the same, and I mean, what awesome human beings they are. Great. Obviously, Lip had a huge impact on my career. My development as a baseball player, helping me reach the big leagues, helping me reach my goals, my dreams. And, I'm forever grateful for everybody in this organization.
What's it like now as truly a veteran? And I mean, you got the street cred versus like when you first came up. I mean, it's got to be a world of difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. I mean, I was scared to death when I first got called up. I ain't going to lie, Jason Kendall, Mark Kotze, Mark Ellis, Bobby Crosby, Dan Herron started the All-Star game, for crying out loud, when Kendall got traded. I had to catch him. It was a very neat experience for me, and I think, learning the ropes, learning how to be a big leaguer from all these guys that had all this tons of experience was a huge help for myself. And I try to do that for these young guys that get called up. I try to teach them, what I learned when I first got called up. Obviously, as you know, it's a little bit different, nowadays from when it was, back then. But when you think about it, it really isn't that much difference. You still have to continue to learn how to be a big leaguer, how to be a professional on a daily basis. And I think, for me, when I preach to these young kids, that's the hardest part to learn, is how to be a pro, how to be a big leaguer every day, not just going out there and playing the game. It's the stuff off the field, the preparation, the recovery, the mentality, everything about that it also plays a huge role in it.
You had such great success, and speaking of why Kotze loved him so much, they're Cal State Fullerton guys. And being a San Jose State guy drives you nuts. I still tell Kotze, I walked down when it was Kevin Costner Field. I walked Kotze to get to the bases loaded, and the next guy up in a grand slam off of me. So I never actually faced him back in college. But you'd won so much in college, right? Couple trips to Omaha, you guys won it. And then to think going through your career to then win the World Series. You hang on and you stay with the Nats and you win. I mean, just take us through as a veteran. That was such a veteran-laden club. We would have Trip Hale on while you guys are going through that run. He was still coming on A's Cast Live with us, taking us through it, right? Like, you wouldn't think, like, why is the A's guys always getting Chip Hale? But Chip always took care of us. Just what was that run like?
It was memorable. I'm not going to lie. It was a tough start. You look at our team and, with the Howie Kendricks, the Ryan Zimmermans, Strauss, Max, Anthony, myself, Yanko.
Doolittle was there.
Doolittle was there. Hudson. I mean, you had a bunch of veteran guys out there, and we always joked around, call ourselves the old guys, the viejos out there. But I think that's what helped us, When you start 19-31 in a division like the NL East, to be able to come out of that wasn't easy. And we had a lot of meetings, we had a lot of things, but I think to truly win when you start off that bad, you really have to enjoy being around each other. And I felt like we truly loved one another. We loved being at the park together. We loved competing together. And I think that's what helped us the most. And to be able to do what we did, and all we said was, if we get a shot, wild card, it didn't matter. If we just got in, we knew we were going to make some noise. And with our pitching staff and our veteran guys on the team. So when we got in, and obviously that game against Milwaukee in the wild card game with that Soto got that hit, and the ball bounced away from Grisham, you knew something special was going to happen.
So all of a sudden, Yan Gomes gets traded over here, right? And we're doing the interview with them, and we asked him, like, how weird is it seeing Max Scherzer in a Dodger uniform? And I'll throw it even now at the trading deadline, seeing Juan Soto in the Padre Brown. I mean, it had to be tough to see that team win it all and what that meant, Baby Shark and all the stuff you guys had rolling, and to now just see it, not even it's a shell of itself.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. But at the same time, I think when you're around enough, you understand it's a business. You understand that, organizations have a job to do to make their team better, not just in the future. I mean, not in just the present, but in the future, in the long run. And I think the best direction, for the organization was to sell pieces and to rebuild their farm system and stuff like that. And obviously Riz had built that team, from being a 100-loss team and then to winning the World Series. So he obviously has an idea of what he wants to do and what it looks like to rebuild. So, it is weird watching Scherz and Trey, they're in a Dodger uniform, now Soto in a Padres uniform is, I mean, I play with Rendon and I look at him in an Anaheim uniform and I think it's weird, it's crazy.
And something I think you guys should be really proud of. I don't know. We talk about your guys' team a lot now, and I think you guys should be really proud, is that if a team is struggling, and now the Braves are in that also, because in August at one point last year, the Braves are 2 games under 500. But now if a team's struggling, we now look and say, hey, wait a minute, look what the Nationals did. You got to be proud. I mean, what you guys did was really special. Everyone counted you out, and you showed that, you know what, you can come back. Don't quit. Stay together. Don't, throw each other on the bus in the media. And if you do it the right way, you can win it all.
And you're absolutely right. it definitely is. It's pretty humbling that everybody said, "Hey, look at the Nats in 19." They came back and won when they started off so poorly in a tough division. But you just nailed it right there. You have to love being at the park together. You have to love competing together. You have to have that chemistry in the clubhouse to be able to turn it around, because it's easy, like you said, to throw guys under the bus, to point your fingers, to blame people here and there. But the hardest thing is to take accountability and to just work through it together. And you really have to, like I said, I mean, we talk to each other. We have group chats still from the guys on the same team. We went this spring training. We had dinner with Trey and Howie and Huddy and Jan and Ali and Tony. We went out to dinner together, and we really enjoy being around each other.
Ken Korak said it last. Oh, first of all, World Series ring, how much do you wear it?
I wear it quite a bit, especially with the Dodgers fans being down there. I wear it quite a bit around there.
I like it. Well, Ken Korak said it last night on the broadcast, and let's in on this because I know you have BP going on. 18 years ago, you were drafted by the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone by fast, but not gone by fast. It's been a whirlwind. Been on a few teams, and I got 3 kids now, and 18 years. I mean, 2004 is it seems like far away, but it really not. And when I come back here, I bring back memories. And I was a kid. I was a kid here, and I had a lot of tough times, but I also had a lot of great times, and I think it made me better. And like I said, I will always love Oakland. I always love coming back to the Coliseum and playing in front of these fans, and it's awesome.
An interview that I will never forget when I think of all the different interviews I've done, the interview you and I did at the Tokyo Dome.
Oh, yeah.
And how much it meant for you to play in Japan. And then after we did the interview, the reception you got in Japan. And I remember just going, wow. And I was sitting up in the press box and just knowing what that meant to you. That was really special. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that was cool. That was the first time I've ever met my relatives in Japan. That was the first time I've ever seen them and met them in person. And, I mean, baseball, does crazy things like that. It opens up doors to things that you never think you'll ever do. And, shoot, I met my relatives from Japan for the first time, and I got to play in front of them. It was pretty cool.
Well, you're a grade A, and I know – last time I talked to you, you said you wouldn't play that much longer. I don't know. We may be here 5 years from now, and here you're still. Who knows?
I don't know. It's going to be tough, but yeah, I guess you never know.
You're always great to us.
Right.
Congratulations on an unbelievable career, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yes, thank you.
We got more coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
Hey, A's fans, your Athletics are back in town, and we're kicking off the series with a boom. That's right. Post-game fireworks presented by Lagunitas are back after Friday night's matchup against the Mariners. Friday, August 19th, join us at the ballpark when the A's take on the Mariners, and then head down to the field to see the best fireworks display in the Bay. August 19th fireworks presented by Lagunitas. Tickets start at just $15 and are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is a national brand with family-owned prices and service. You can shop at one of their Barrier locations, and all stores are sanitized and safe, or you can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Coming in at 5'3", it's number one mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you could pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom shakalaka. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Innovation is at the heart of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students map genes from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Hey, A's fans, you know that running your own business is a slugfest every day. That's why businesses have been counting on Mechanics Bank since 1905. From operating lines of credit to equipment and real estate loans, they can help build your lineup to meet today's challenges and prepare for tomorrow's opportunities. Stop by your local branch or visit mechanicsbank.com today. Mechanics Bank, the official East Bay Bank of the Oakland A's. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. All loans subject to program eligibility and credit approval.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, it is 5 o'clock, and he has shown up. The president of your Oakland Athletics, Dave Kaval, here on A's Cast Live. And first, let me say, Sunday was spectacular.
It really was.
I mean, honoring, and I thought it was such a unique class that we had when you talk about guys that won 3 straight World Series. I mean, what Ray Fosse meant to all of us, not only as a player, as a broadcaster, as a mentor.
For sure.
You grew up with him in Cleveland.
Yep, Cleveland connection.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then you think about Joe Rudy, and you think about Sal Bando, the captain. Eric Chavez was a great player, one of the premier defensive players of his time. And then also unique is where, you know, guys were such a part of the fabric of our family, right? When you got Voos for 54 years.
Absolutely.
Keith Littman for 52.
Yep.
It was such a dynamic class.
Well, and also that we celebrate not just folks who, you know, make their mark on the field, but also the support staff, you know, like Keith Littman, like Voos. Those people are just as important in making everything work for the A's. And so I think that was a really special moment, and I think we're one of the few organizations in Hall of Fames that does that.
And what is it like for you and your staff when everybody shows that appreciation for making that happen? Because we never had it. We have to start it at some time.
We did.
You start it, and what it means to men who haven't played in so long. I mean, it was the 70s, but what it means to them and their family and the grandkids and everything is so special.
Well, you know, baseball is something that's passed on generation to generation. And so I think being able to tell your kids, or even like meet your hero, like your father's hero, whether it's Joe Rudy or, you know, one of these former players. I mean, it's kind of amazing, you know, Vida Blue, you know, we had all the ex-players here who are in already, like Ricky and Reggie. It was just a great feeling and a really special day for the organization.
Yeah, to see Ray Fosse's grandkids and know that they'll remember this for their less.
Oh, and they had a great
lives.
time. I love spending time with them and the family. And I mean, it was bittersweet because he wasn't here, but I know he was looking down.
There is no question about it.
He was.
So, the ballpark continues to be the focus.
A ballpark. The saga goes on. It marches on.
The port, really good now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You got what you wanted there. Another hurdle that you cleared. How big was that for you?
Well, that was one of the hardest votes in this whole process because BCDC requires a 2/3 supermajority. And a lot of times you only can get a majority in these entities. So that was a big deal. We had 2 dissenting votes. And it was just really, really positive about building momentum this summer and hopefully getting us to a point later this year where we can get a final binding vote out of the city council.
Yeah, that's the thing that we're all waiting for, right? We want the binding vote.
Right.
So you hear a lot of different things, and that's the problem. There's a lot of people who don't put their name on stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown out there.
Of course. Well, that's the modern media world that we live in. So
correct.
yes,
but you don't. You always put your name on it, which is
That's true.
interesting.
I'm right here.
Your name's on it. Everybody
Yes,
else is like,
it
well,
is.
so-and-so, but they won't
Yeah.
say who that. All right, so when we talk about binding vote, how do you get the city council to have a binding vote?
I think the key thing, and it's everything, is the city needs to demonstrate that they have the money for the offsite infrastructure. They have not been able to show us, the league, even their own constituents, that they have identified the sources of capital. And they're about at least $200 million short right now. And so it's very hard to take a vote until we know that they have the funding lined up. And so we're working as hard as we can to support the city on federal grants, going to Washington, D.C., bringing our union partners involved, talking to the Department of Transportation, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, all these people to ensure that we put our best foot forward because we have hundreds of millions of dollars of grants that the city has applied for. But we need to know as soon as possible if this money is going to be allocated for our project.
Buttigieg, you're going to the top.
Why not? Why not? And, the mayor's done an incredible job. Libby, she's obviously talked to the vice president who has roots in Oakland. And so I think we're pulling out all the stops. But by the same token, we really are running out of time because Libby's going to leave office at the end of the year. She's termed out. And so I think between now and the election in November is the critical moment that we need to figure out how that offsite money comes to fruition, because many of the other issues are actually kind of solved. This is really the big bogey to figure out.
Yeah, it's a tough thing in the postgame show when people call and they want to start talking about the political. That's not really my lane. I kind of try and stay in my lane.
That's good. That's good. A lot of people don't stay in their lane.
Right.
So
it's kind of like, hey, you want to talk war? I'm your Huckleberry. But you want to talk about the Oakland politics? I'm not your guy. But is that maybe a worry that we are in an election year?
I think it complicates things. I mean, you have several members of the city council running for mayor. And so we're just getting caught up in a little bit of that process. But we don't have a choice. This is where we are. We've spent 5 years. We spent over $200 million on this project. We need a binding vote. And, the path to get there is for the city to identify the money sources. And I think if they do that, I think we can pull it off. But that's the big question and one that we need an answer to.
And one thing that our fans need to know that baseball wants, it's the NFL model. They want to go to 32 teams.
Yes.
And the only way you can expand to those 2 new cities, and we hope our own Dave Stewart gets Nashville.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then whatever the other city is. But they can't do that until the A's and the Tampa Bay Rays
get figured out. It's just this big unknown, and it's been going on probably too long. I think the league feels that like it's go time for both franchises, and that's why they're really pressuring hard to say, hey, we need a plan. And keep in mind, we only have a lease here for 2 more years. And, it's not like these stadiums just pop out of the ground like a mushroom. They don't get built like in 3 days. It takes time. It takes planning, infrastructure, all these different pieces. So we really need to get going to ensure that we can make any timeline that makes sense.
When does a vote have to happen before we hit DEFCON 5? And oh my God,
I think they have to at least schedule a vote this year. I mean, hopefully you'd have the vote this year. But keep in mind, you can't really schedule the vote till you have the money. With a lot of these things, it comes down to money. And, we're paying for all the on-sites. We've agreed to all the community benefits. We've conceded on all these points. But at the end of the day, the city identified back in 2021 that they would take the off-site infrastructure. That's like the roads, the bridges, the bike lanes, in places like Chinatown and downtown and Old Oakland, all needed. Don't get me wrong. But those are things that we really need the city to come up with. And they said they would. And hopefully they can line everything up and make that happen as soon as possible.
Because you've negotiated everything into even low-income housing.
I
mean, you've done the whole
affordable housing. Yeah, we have a general agreement on that in the framework, which is great. And I think the city council has been very supportive of the numbers and the percentages. And so really the focus right now is just all on this offsite infrastructure. Like everybody, it's like all hands on deck to solve that. Because without solving that, there really can't be a deal. And so that's, I think, the concern.
So for us to get shovels in the ground, money's got to be there, binding vote. That's where we're at.
That's where we're at. And then the only other wild card out there is something that, we've been dealing with for months now is these lawsuits. We got hit with another lawsuit on the BCDC vote.
But you expected that, right?
Well, it's just frustrating to get sued on every approval. It just means that we knew from the beginning there'd be a lot of lawsuits, and it came to fruition. Our predictions were correct.
Has there really ever been a big project in California where it didn't have lawsuits?
Well, not in the modern era. I think when they built this place, I don't think there was any lawsuits. But that was a long time ago.
1966.
Long time ago. That was a different state at the time. Different state.
Yeah. So how do you handle that?
Well, you first of all lawyer up. We got a great group, Gibson Dunn. We got Whit Manley. We got all the same people who worked on Golden One, worked on Chase Center, all the big projects, 49ers. And so I think we have the right team, but it is frustrating to get so many different lawsuits. And so it just takes time and effort. And each time there's a lawsuit, that 270 days, it starts again for that lawsuit. So that's frustrating because it just puts the timing out and makes it hard for us to know when we can actually break ground and open the venue. Like people always say, why don't you know when? And I said, well, there are these things out of our control. There's lawsuits, there's the funding for the offsites, and that just, complicates things.
How frustrating is it for you to have people give opinions on stuff they don't have all the information on?
Well, I mean, welcome to the 21st century. That's kind of where we are. And I mean, everyone is entitled to their take and their opinion. And, all we can do is continue to move forward on our path to make as much progress as we can to demonstrate the seriousness of, our efforts. Like, I don't think there's ever been a more serious effort to try to get a ballpark built really anywhere. And we're as close as we've ever been, but there's still some big hurdles to get over, and that's what we're focused on now.
The thing that frustrates me for you, even though you don't need my help, is that people just think you're this ballpark guy. It's like, you're a sportsman.
I
you
love sports.
You know that.
You
had your own baseball league, for God's sake.
That's right, the Golden Baseball League.
I mean, in soccer, you loved winning.
Absolutely.
I mean, you are, like, people just want to think of you as a ballpark guy, but you really are a sports guy.
Hey, I wrote a book on it, The Summer That Saved Baseball. Still available on Amazon for anyone who wants to buy it. Went to all 30 ballparks in 38 days. And so always loved the game, especially baseball. And, that's one reason I want to get the ballpark built, because I know what that can mean for the community, for the players, for the league, for everyone. It's a great storyline and something that we can actually have a legacy around.
We have seen the model is build the ballpark and then everything follows around it.
For sure.
I've heard people say, well, why not build everything and then the ballpark? I'm like, are you nuts? Like, that could never happen,
the ballpark
right?
actually is what draws everything.
Correct.
That's actually what is the prime mover of the whole project. So that's got to go first, and it's going to go first in our plan, and it's phase 0 to get that done.
So then we got to talk about the other side, that it's a parallel path.
Path.
How's everything going in Las Vegas?
Well, I think we're as far as we've ever been there as well. We're down to a handful of sites in the resort corridor. We had a new site that popped up just the last couple of weeks that we're spending a lot of time being really thoughtful about. Brings with it some really unique opportunities for not only us, but I think Southern Nevada. And we're working also there with the elected officials. And there's an election in Nevada as well that we're navigating. But we're making a lot of progress there, too, because we need options. We need somewhere to play as a franchise. And while we're working as hard as we can in Oakland, we're doing the same in Las Vegas to see if we can make a plan there that works for all parties as well.
Is there a possibility Major League Baseball could just say, no more at the Coliseum? You just can't play there anymore.
Well, I mean, it's really 10 years past its useful life. I've said this many times. It's just we're dealing with so many challenges here, whether it's the opossums or the cats or the seats or just, this stadium wasn't envisioned to even be used this long. And, it's just a difficult environment. I think our players and our staff are very understanding, but it's always hard. And it's, even though we're spending millions of dollars, our own dollars to keep it playable, there could be a point where that's not possible anymore. It's hard to say.
A lot of the naysayers here in the Bay Area about Las Vegas, I just go, I live this with the Raiders.
Sure.
They all said it would never work, won't happen, can't happen in Nevada. it's happening. Not only is it happening, they just hosted the draft, and now they're going to host the biggest event in the United States called the Super Bowl.
Well,
and they're
yeah.
hosting it.
And the other thing is their ticket revenue for the Raiders is the highest of any team in the league, and they have the smallest stadium. So I mean, there's a lot of data points that indicate. And I think MLB is kind of tuned into this. That like, hey, Las Vegas is a really strong market. They never felt that 10, 15 years ago, and so I think the page is turned on that, and I think that's what makes it a viable option.
Yeah, because you're going to get the people here. They're going to say, "There's no way Vegas will never happen. It can't happen."
Right.
And you're saying, "Nah, that's not so fast."
Yeah, I mean, I think the parallel paths are a real thing. And, we have to explore all our options to see where we're going to end up. But Vegas is very viable.
And when I think about the interviews that you do, and people want you to say one thing, but you do have to keep this parallel path. Tell people why this needs to happen to get a facility done, no matter where the facility is, to get a facility done.
Things take a long time, Downey. These things can't be done overnight. So you have to start the planning way in advance. And if we don't get going in Southern Nevada, and if things collapse here in Oakland, we're not going to have anywhere to go. And so we have to ensure as a franchise that we have a viable plan for a new building, because we just can't keep playing here. It's reached the end of the road. So many great moments, so much great history, the 20-game winning streak, the World Series, all these things. But we're at the point where we need to move on. We need to get to that next chapter.
Do you still think about what this property could be someday?
I think it could be great. We own half of it. We'd love to keep the arena, find out a way to work either with the African American Sports Entertainment Group or the city on the other half, and develop this in a very positive way. That's kind of a second project. We've been focused more on Howard because that's kind of the key path. But I think this could also be redeveloped in a really positive way.
Team's grinding right now, and the one thing that I keep saying to Mark Kotze, what I've been impressed is he laid it out to everybody. It's not going to be easy, but we're still going to play hard every single day. What have you seen in Mark Kotze in his first year as the manager of the A's?
I think he's been tremendous. I think he's brought new energy to the role and to the clubhouse. And I think the young players are especially responding, and they're learning a lot. And it's great to see it. And I think there's been a lot of positives beyond the record that's really important for setting a foundation for success long term. Because we're in that Moneyball cycle where, we're bringing the younger guys in, that we're doing a lot of the trade. And that's Billy and David, they're the masterminds pulling the whole thing off. But very soon we're going to have those new players, and they're going to start coming up, and they're going to start making a bigger impact. And to have Kotz and the rest of his team here to nurture them, to build them up, I think is going to be tremendous.
And it goes back to John Hart and the Cleveland Indians.
I lived through that growing up.
Before Jacobs Field, it's like they got all those great young players. So when
Baerga, Lofton, Bell, everybody.
When they opened up those doors, they were ready to rock for years.
Well, that's the model. That's what Billy always has said, is you want to line it up so you have basically a rising team into the new ballpark, and that is the ultimate recipe for success. And the Guardians Indians at the time, they sold out like 450 games in a row.
Yeah, it was the record.
It was like incredible. And so that's the same kind of thing we want to duplicate, no doubt.
Well, for years, people preach patience. Patience is out the door. We need answers now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no more waiting. We really need to know between now and the election in November. And I think we're on a path to get there. It could be turbulent. There could be ups and downs still. But, we're going to do what we can to make sure that we can get through it and be successful.
It's never a dull moment.
No, but that keeps it fun. It's a good story. It's good for the media, right? It's good for A's Cast.
How do you always keep a smile on your face? I'd be tearing my hair out.
Look where we are. We're on a baseball field. Clay Wood, he's done a great job. How can you not be smiling?
You're not taking shots.
Sunny, 75 degrees. This is good. You got a great shirt on. American flag looks good. He's a good looking guy here.
God, you're better than me. I'd be taking shots at people. I'd be going nuts.
No.
You're good at this.
No, I don't know. Whatever. We'll see.
You're good at this. Hey, thank you very much.
Awesome.
We always
Thanks
appreciate the time.
Awesome, guys.
Always great. The build right here on A's Cast. Coming up, we get you ready for the Angels and the A's right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Hey, A's fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up. And Eaton can't believe it.
Grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Innovation is at the heart of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students map genes from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Hey, A's fans, your Athletics are back in town, and we're kicking off the series with a boom. That's right. Post-game fireworks presented by Lagunitas are back after Friday night's matchup against the Mariners. Friday, August 19th, join us at the ballpark when the A's take on the Mariners, and then head down to the field to see the best fireworks display in the Bay. August 19th fireworks presented by Lagunitas. Tickets start at just $15 and are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Coming in at 5'3", it's #1 mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you could pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom shakalaka. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
Hey, A's fans, you know that running your own business is a slugfest every day. That's why businesses have been counting on Mechanics Bank since 1905. From operating lines of credit to equipment and real estate loans, they can help build your lineup to meet today's challenges and prepare for tomorrow's opportunities. Stop by your local branch or visit mechanicsbank.com today. Mechanics Bank, the official East Bay bank of the Oakland A's. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. All loans subject to program eligibility and credit approval.
Some things just go together. Peanut butter and jelly, cookies and milk, Oakland and Kaiser Permanente. If that last one caught you off guard, it shouldn't, because Kaiser Permanente has been helping keep Oakland healthy since our very beginning. And as the official healthcare partner of the Oakland A's, that won't be changing anytime soon. Whatever you may need, you can trust Kaiser Permanente to help keep you feeling your best. Kaiser Permanente. Thrive. Visit kp.org today.
Streaming from the East Bay, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Angels taking BP right now. And on the mound tonight, I don't know the expected crowd, but the show of shows is going to be on the mound tonight. No question. I'm thankful for him. He has been, no question, great for our game. Shohei Ohtani brings eyes. Like, we're not going to be able to show you, but up in the press box right now, the amount of Japanese media is huge. I mean, this guy's like Elvis. I mean, everywhere he goes, they want a picture. Everything he does, they want a picture. They want video. They want to send it back. He is a big, big deal. You know, from Anchorman, I'm kind of a big deal. He's a big deal.
It's a great quote from that movie.
Come here, Cody. What you been?
Yeah, well, we only got about 2 minutes, but I'd be remiss if I didn't.
Have you tell the seasons are changing? Look how I mentioned it yesterday. Usually the sun, you can start to tell the sun's coming down quick. Ohtani, by the way, he is one home run away from being number 2 all time as a Japanese player in Major League Baseball for home runs. And he will join Babe Ruth, who back in 1918, they'd be the only players 10 home runs, 10 wins in a single season.
Pretty impressive.
It's like when they said they're going to trade this guy. I'm like, it'd be the dumbest business move you're making. We don't even know what it is, right? We're just speculating that it could be around $30 million a year.
We've heard between 20 and 30.
But you're speculating. We don't know it unless the Angels show you their books.
Yeah.
I think it's probably around $30+ million Shohei Ohtani is bringing into the Angels for just being Shohei Ohtani and the Japanese corporations. And it will just continue to grow. You're not giving that away. You're going to give that away for prospects who are going to make you no money. Stop it. There's no way. There's no way you'd be like Mark Gubazah said yesterday. They're not trading.
Cabana Boy?
I'm not saying that.
I called him Cabana Boy earlier upstairs. I called
What did he
yesterday.
say?
He started laughing. By the way, because we're almost out of time, I'd be remiss if we didn't say thank you to Griffin, our intern. This is his last show with us.
Griff's mom. He's got to go back to school.
Yeah, thank God the A's are 2-17 when he's been here.
He has literally been the worst intern of all time. You know what? He can walk. Come around, say hello, Griff. Come around, wave so they know who the heck we're talking about. This is the most unlucky intern in the history of interns. He has the worst record of all time. Here.
No, there's one right there.
Oh. Griff, say goodbye. And we're so glad you're leaving because you're what, 2-17?
2-17, yeah. And they're 18-18 for the month and a half that I was gone. So
he misses a homestand. We went 6 of 8, sweep the Astros. He's not here.
Hey, we've been a bad club this year. We're not going to sugarcoat it, but we've been really bad when he's here.
Yeah. It's uncanny. They're happy to hear that I'm going.
What have you learned being around the Oakland A's as you head back to Syracuse?
It can only get better from here.
It's true.
Yeah, positive attitude. I like it.
Yeah, I mean we can't get much worse than this.
Yeah,
I mean it could be the Nats, but I mean
That's true. You could trade. They didn't trade any. Well, they did trade some guys, but they didn't trade Juan Soto. So
true. Yeah. Well, we don't have a Juan Soto to trade.
How about Kurt Suzuki? Like, it's one thing Scherzer's in a Dodger uniform, guy you won a World Series with. You're now looking at, oh my God, Soto's and Padre Brown.
1-5, by the way. Padres can't win.
And then he says, Rendon's on my team, and I'm even
weird in the
I'm even looking at going, Rendon is in an Angels uniform. I thought that was interesting.
The only guy left standing, Steven Strasburg.
Zimmerman's gone. Well, is
retired.
Is he standing?
Well, that's true. Yeah, he's probably sitting somewhere.
Is Strasburg standing?
I don't think. Oh no, sorry. Victor Robles is still on the team, the center fielder.
can't forget about him.
Yeah.
Well, how much time we got?
We got to go.
Griff,
it's been a pleasure.
Good luck to you back.
Thank you.
At Syracuse, your football team stinks, but good luck in hoops.
And basketball. Thank you.
Jim Boeheim.
So when they play Pitt.
All right, so we've got and by the way, Kurt Suzuki being by, how cool was that? Going down memory lane with the great Kurt Suzuki. Kurt Suzuki will always be a terrific Oakland athlete.
I'm going to have the video up on our YouTube channel, so you fans can check it out there. Also, you can hear the podcast too, athletics.com/AceCast. But we'll play that tomorrow on Ace Total Access, Kurt Suzuki with you. So Dave Kaval today.
By the way, this note on how bad the Angels have been in free agency, that's not dying with us.
Yep. Well, I got to hang out the game with my wife and her aunt, who are both, wait for it, Angel fans.
Over $1 billion they've spent. Billion.
How many World Series have they won since they started spending?
One.
Well, I mean, since
I mean, who was on that World Series team that was a big free agent? Those are all homegrown guys.
Mo Vaughn. No, he was hurt. No, he wasn't even on the team.
Wasn't even on the team.
Yeah, none of those guys. Those guys were all after.
Unbelievable. We want to thank the Super Scout, TV star today, tomorrow, the great Shooty Babitt, Kurt Suzuki, an all-time A's fan favorite, and the president of the Oakland Athletics, Dave Kaval. Thank you for listening and watching A's Cast Live. We'll see everybody back here Friday. It's the Astros. What time are we going to be on?
We'll be on at 2 o'clock. We're probably going to have Sean Murphy, the skipper Mark Hotze, and I'm going to get the manager of maybe the next greatest offense in Oakland A's history, Bobby Crosby, because everyone's at Midland.
Fran Reardon. Yeah.
Well, everyone's at Midland now.
You mean the former Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Up next, A's Total Access.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the last dive bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here.